Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talk Some More. So this is a lockdown news roundup, sort of. Well, basically, I'm just going to talk about a few things that are on my mind. Stuff bouncing around in my head. Stuff I've been sent. I just seen this on the news. Cases past 50,000. This is all so predictable. There's a ton of propaganda in the press today about how something terrible is on the way. What I would like to know is out of these 51,000 cases that they have, how many of these people have had the jab? As far as I know, they don't have these figures or release these figures, but the majority of people who are all against this, if they're anything like me, well, they won't be doing any tests at all. They will be not engaging with this crap whatsoever. So I feel this number is predominantly those who have fallen for this hook, line and sinker. Predominantly the jabbed up and the masked up. Government obeying scared people. It's a catch-22 situation we all seem to be in, with the same people downloading the app, taking tests, just continuing the cycle over and over like mouses on a wheel going round and round. Nothing going to change, is it? I mean, we are being controlled by a majority of mindless people who can't think for themselves. And the only hope we have is if these people can see what is going on. And I have no idea why they can't. I mean, how long is it now? I mean, have they been hypnotized? I think this is a possibility. It's a definite possibility. There is a disconnect with them. You see it on social media. There's no talking to them. They still keep saying the same things. Whenever I or others have gotten into arguments with them, they very rarely have a point of view. And once you show them some figures or facts, or just show them obvious conflicts in what they are saying, they just shut down. They suddenly disappear. And then a week later, they come back in and say the same thing. And then there is those people with social media accounts that are wearing masks in their profile picture. What is wrong with these people? Why would you have a profile picture with yourself wearing a mask in it? I can't see your feckin' face. That's the whole point of a profile picture. But no, you want to wear a mask in your profile picture to display it as a badge of honour. Or is it that you want to virtue signal to the whole world that you are a government-obeying slave doing your bit? They are always the same. They always never have a valid point and don't seem to take in any information against the information that their minds have been brainwashed with. Have these people been hypnotized? It sounds crazy, but really, it does feel like we've been invaded by the body snatchers. Like I've said before, it feels like the world is at war, doesn't it? I mean, maybe it is. The governments around the world have said, hey, we want you to be our slaves from now on. I don't think that's a crazy idea to come to. It's truly boiling up at the moment. Look at South Africa. Look at Cuba. You notice that they disconnected the internet in Cuba the other day because the government claimed they were using the internet to organize protests online. So they just switched the internet off completely. Is that what is coming over to all the other countries when things start to get out of hand? I mean, you've got France tomorrow, which looks like it may kick off. UK, I believe there's a big protest on Monday, 19th of July, and on the 24th. Things are coming to the boil, and these governments are just ramping up the rules and the regulations and the restrictions. In the UK, they mandated the jab for care homes. This is the road now we're on. That signals things are really getting out of control, because once that comes in, what's the next job? What's the next occupation? Teachers? It can go anywhere. You really have no excuse anymore to be siding with these people. If you think that the government have your best interest at heart, you're completely deluded, you know? If they are going to completely ignore the human rights laws that have been around for decades, then the whole rule book and what's legal and what isn't is all up in the air. And if you're enabling that online by sticking up for this crap, then the time has come, have nothing to do with you. Have nothing to do with people like that anymore. Because, you know, you've just given yourself over to the dark side. It's sickening. Look at Ireland. They had another protest last night at Phoenix Park. That's 2 nights in a row. They hadn't done very much up until then. But the passports into pubs, the medical apartheid, has really, I think, maybe shocked them into getting together. But there needs to be more. It needs to be bigger. And the message needs to get out. That's the problem. If they shut down the internet, the message won't get out as it should. as can be seen in Cuba there. And why is this all happening? That's the question. I mean, there are a lot of theories. I can't help thinking that there is something bigger at play, that there is a part of the puzzle missing. Many of the theories, they are probably partly true to a certain extent, but these could be, as many have said, could have been achieved in other ways. I mean, this all seems such a convoluted way of doing it. We all now know how adept the mainstream media are at faking and hyping up situations. I mean, they could have easily created a situation to bring in passports, even a cashless society. But all of this, I mean, there's something missing. I mean, all of the information that is online, I mean, sometimes I feel that it's been put there for certain people to find, So it's like some form of IQ test to split the people who think for themselves and the ones who will just do as they are told. And if that was the case, why would that be so? I did a video the other day about the solar flares, the news stories that had been doing the rounds over the last month, saying that there was a solar flare from the sun, imminent, that was going to knock out the power grid and the internet across the world. And there have been many, many stories like this over the last month, which haven't actually materialized. Nothing's happened. As if they are priming the public with these solar flare scare stories, getting them used to this idea. And I got some, replies from people about this, links to a thing called the Carrington event. Apparently, a Carrington event was a powerful geomagnetic storm that happened in 1859. A powerful geomagnetic storm. It's technically called a solar coronal mass ejection. It says in 1859, when this happened, telegraph systems in North America and Europe were electrified, causing telegraph poles and receiving stations to catch fire. A number of operators suffered shocks, and the equipment as well. Scientists believe a solar storm of that magnitude today would damage global electrical grids to such an extent that repairs would take months at minimum and possibly years to fix. And let's face it, compared to 1859, I mean, we're all connected now by electricity, and our lives are stuffed with gadgets and Wi-Fi connections and God knows what. Now, scientists or experts say that these Carrington events happen roughly every 150 years, and they claim, looking at the sun cycle, it states another Carrington level event is inevitable, it says here. In this article, Carrington level events occur roughly every 150 years. It's now been 162 years since 1859, but we don't need to panic just yet. The sun, which operates on an 11-year cycle, just had a solar minimum a year ago in April 2019. The next solar maximum, the period of highest activity, won't occur until sometime in 2023 to 2026. So, around 2025? They are suggesting a Carrington event could occur, and they also state it wouldn't even need to be as big as the last one to cause untold damage and literally cut off the world's power supply, which of course would create out and out chaos everywhere, basically sending everyone back to the dark ages and out foraging for food. So, I don't know. Do the powers that be, with the technology they have got, do they anticipate this to happen? Do they know more precisely when it is happening? The World Economic Forum had Cyber Polygon the other day, a simulation of a cyber pandemic. But that seems to be more concerned with hackers. They don't mention this very much, yet scientists say it is inevitable. So do they know something we don't? Has it got anything to do with what is going on in the world now, with the decisions that are being made? Is it a coincidence that they predict, they say it's inevitable that this coronal mass ejection is due around 2025? Around the same time, for example, the World Bank is stopping its preparedness fund for coronavirus. And it's a geomagnetic storm as well. And we've heard so much about magnetism of late. I mean, if that was true, the story of people getting magnetized, what sort of effect would a geomagnetic storm of the Carrington event magnitude, what effect would that have on people? So, there you go. I mean, just curious. This is just what's going through my head and what I've been looking at, I'm just speculating because there does seem to be something missing here in the story. So let me know what you think. Am I talking crap? Hugo talks crap? Maybe I'll rename the channel. Look, stay strong, stay positive. Don't let the mainstream media wind you up. Stay focused, but don't lose it and keep the faith. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place for like-minded souls who don't follow the fake stream media.